For years, mornings were an absolute downfall for me. Every single day I'd wake up and without even thinking, I'd grab my phone and I'd get sucked into this vortex of pointless notifications, emails, WhatsApps, other people's perfectly curated lives on social media, doom scrolling on YouTube. And before I knew it, sometimes I'd even spend an entire hour just like that, vanished, right? So let's break this down because, 1 hour every morning, it doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But if you actually do the numbers, it's insane. You're talking about losing essentially over two working months every single year. Just let that sink in for a moment. 2 months every single year. And if you scale that up to a decade, you're looking at nearly 2 years of your working life just gone, right? And let's not even go down the road of like if you spend 4 hours, which a lot of people do, on their phones, the amount of time that you lose then. Now look, I'm not against a bit of entertainment. We all need to unwind sometimes, obviously. Now, I do highly advise against making it your first port of call in the morning. Like that's probably the worst thing you can do for your brain, for your mood, for everything, right? Because it wasn't just losing the time in the morning, but the fact that it would just leave me with this lingering sense of unease, like this low-level, semi-depressed feeling that would just cast a shadow over me and like for the rest of the day. So, even though it was 30 minutes or an hour, it felt like I'd lost the entire day. It didn't just, leave me with this unmotivated, purposeless type of vibe in the morning. It would like keep sticking during the whole day, like asking you, doubting yourself, right? And what's my purpose? And why am I not passionate about anything, right? Well, and subconsciously, I would say to myself, well, I've already started the day like this. Well, what's the point of getting into a rush to do anything now? So it wasn't just about the time, it was about the energy, the momentum that it would leave me with during the whole day. And honestly, the way we start our day is undeniably going to affect the rest of it, right? If that resonates with you, you're in the right place. Whether you work a traditional job and you just want to build some momentum, maybe get in a workout before work, but especially if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner where you've managed to create this life of freedom where you don't have to be or you don't have to start at a certain time, well then definitely this video is for you. Now, it isn't just another morning routine guide video. We all know what we should be doing, but actually doing it consistently, that is the challenge, right? So that's why I am genuinely excited to share this, because I'm even doing this video, right? That's how excited I am to share this with you, because it's completely changed my life, right? My mornings set the day, and it's like I finally cracked the code to effortlessly sticking to my morning routine, which sets me up for a powerful day. What I'm about to show you is scientifically backed, a fully automated system that eliminates excuses, it just saves you energy, and it just sets you up for success every single day. I'll walk you through exactly how I built it, and more importantly, how you can build your own morning routine that works for you. And the real game changer here is that I've eliminated the hardest thing of any routine, which is thinking, right? You know how it goes. Your brain starts negotiating with you as soon as you wake up. Maybe I'll start tomorrow. I feel a little bit tired today. I'll just skip. With this system, it just runs and you just follow it. There's no friction, there's no overthinking. It's just pure momentum. This whole morning struggle goes back way in the day, at least for me, back in my uni days, studying law, where I would pull all-nighters. There were irregular occurrences before exams, and I'd be burning the midnight oil trying to cram everything in. I would study all the time, like into the early mornings. Then throw in 10 years of DJing, another lifestyle built around the late nights and sleeping in, and you can see why mornings became such a challenge for me. This night owl lifestyle became ingrained. It felt like second nature, and I think it's what made early starts a real uphill battle later on in life, right? So I'm not here to tell you to join the 5 a.m. club. I'm definitely not in that train either. Unless you have a hard start time, like you have to be at work at 8 a.m., well then wake up whenever you need to, right? Whatever time you need to in order to get into the right state to conquer your goals. Now, knowing why this is so important isn't enough. Like, that's why I want to sort of like focus now our shift on the how to strategically shift in the quickest time possible from feeling sluggish to motivated and like energized, regardless of the time that you wake up. Sometimes it's just getting out the house in order to create that game changer and get, you know, that momentum, just getting out the house. So going back to how it all started, once I graduated at uni, I landed a job at a law firm, and that was it. Like 9 a.m. sharp every morning, I had to be in an office. It was like a shock to my system at first, but having this external deadline forced me to get up and get going. It actually worked really well. And a few months down the line, I started my own law firm, and I kept that 9 a.m. be at the office routine. I was consistently going to the gym before work, and getting up wasn't even a problem. It was like this external structure kept me on track day in, day out. So that was good. But a few years ago, I went all in on delegation and automation in my law firm. I mean, literally everything. And I even built another business with the exact same approach, systemizing the hell out of it. So now I'm in this weird position, which, yes, it's an absolute blessing, but obviously I don't have to be in an office. I don't have to show up anywhere. So, and most of what I do, I can do from bed, right? A few calls here and there, because my teams handle the bulk of it, pretty much everything. And until, of course, I start a new project, something that's going to force me to be somewhere, something that's going to force me to get back into a schedule. But isn't this like defeating the whole point of this freedom that I've created for myself? This freedom that I feel it's like a double-edged sword, because it can trap you in the procrastination cycle, right? And obviously, if I don't actually engage in any of my businesses and I don't put any effort in it, well, the businesses just stagnate. They just keep making money, but they don't actually grow, because at the end of the day, I'm still the one calling the shots. I don't have any CEOs running the show for me. And so if I do show up and when I do put in the work, things grow. So it's this constant balancing act between maintaining that freedom and realizing that growth still requires me to jump in now and then and lead, right? So what I want to truly emphasize is that getting out of bed was, for far too many years of my life, just an uphill battle with this feeling of being trapped. It might sound dramatic, but it's the truth. And the crazy thing is, on the days that I was forced, for some reason, I had to go to the doctors or whatever, and I had to get up and get moving, it was like, honestly, it was like all this self-doubting and feeling unpassionate about things, if that's even a word, it just vanished, right? You don't second guess yourself. It just comes to you, and all of a sudden you're flooded with ideas. You're in the gym pumping iron, and it's all of a sudden you don't have enough hours in the day to conquer the world and everything that you want to do. So the real key is getting into peak physical state, mentally and physical, as quickly as humanly possible upon waking, right? And then just one day it just hit me. I said, right, that is it. Not another bloody day. I can't keep living like this. It was like I wasn't really experiencing the full spectrum of what life has to offer. And I don't know about you, but I want to live to the fullest and like expand the joy for life even more. So it came to me, it hit me, and I was like, well, what if I approach my mornings in the same way as I approach my businesses and just automate it, right? So, and then James Clear's quote came to my head. It popped in, right? He wrote the Atomic Habits, which is a great book, and I was like, his quote says, we don't rise to the goals that we have, we fall to the level of our systems. So I was like, right, what I have to do is create a fully structured system that is going to break me out of this pattern. And I've read all the books on morning routines, from Robin Sharma's 5 a.m. Club, Hal Elrod's The Miracle Morning, great book, which is based on like the Savers framework, Mel Robbins, The 5-Second Rule. And look, any successful person, whether it's a business leader, an athlete, creatives, whatever, you name it, they all have this sort of structure morning ritual. Tony Robbins has his priming practice, right? He famously says that the quality of your life is in a direct reflection of the quality of your rituals. Tim Cook, Jeff Bezos, Jack Dorsey, Richard Branson, they all start their mornings with intention, and for them this is like the most powerful thing in life, right? That said, there are some counter arguments like Alex Hormozi's, who are like, forget about morning routines, just get to work as soon as possible. He literally just gets up and starts working, and look, maybe that works for him, maybe he's just like wired differently, but I think for the most of us, that's just like a very fast track to burnout. So the science is pretty clear. A solid morning routine isn't just about getting more done, it's about building that long-term motivation, showing up at your very best consistently, right, without that burnout. It's about creating a foundation of energy, focus and drive that you can rely on, and that's going to compound day in, day out, right? So we've established why this matters, and the truth is how you start your day dictates everything, right? It sets a tone for the entire thing. Why put all this effort into building and automating a morning routine? Well, because it's like, for me, it's like a mental gym. Just like you lift weights, right, to strengthen your body, these habits strengthen your mind. Each element, which we'll go through each one in a moment, is just like a rep, right? But instead of for the biceps, it's for the mental resilience, for your clarity, for your focus. It's not just about having a good start to the day, it's about training your mind to operate at its peak long term. You wouldn't skip the gym if you wanted to stay physically fit, would you? So you can't skip your morning routine if you want to stay mentally sharp and in a peak mental state. It's the same principle. Look, just picture this. Imagine waking up every single day and instantly tapping into your peak potential, right? Imagine the sheer volume of what you could achieve. Imagine, feeling of being completely energized, focused, driven. And for me, at least, it's just about feeling good, feeling that positive vibration every morning. Imagine your mood transforming from, whatever it's now, to just like pure feeling of being pumped, right? It's a completely different way to live day in, day out. So also it's really great for if you've decided to incorporate something new into your day, like you've got a new resolution, I'm going to do this every single day, and like you're going to start taking these vitamins, or you're going to stretch after a workout. You're committed, you've made the decision, it's a no-brainer, but then all of a sudden comes the next day and you just forget, right? It just slips your mind. I don't know if it's happened to you, but like to me, it would always happen. So, it just falls through the cracks. Now, the powerful part of this system that I built is that it's completely automated. It's a structured approach where it solved this problem. It embeds those habits into the routine that just runs on autopilot. You don't have to remember literally anything. You don't need that willpower. You just do it, and it becomes part of your morning flow, right? Right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty step by step. First, I'll explain how the components, the individual pieces that I've added to the puzzle, and then I'll show you how I've actually automated the entire process so it runs without any conscious effort, right? So this isn't just a bunch of random habits, by the way. This is a strategy. Every single element is intentional, either backed by science or my own experience. It's made me feel good, and it's specifically designed to build momentum and put me into that peak state straight away. This is one of the smartest investments you can possibly make in yourself. It's a no-brainer, honestly. Right, so let's get into it. The first thing I do in the mornings is smile as soon as I wake up. Sounds cheesy, right? But it's not just fluff. It actually changes your brain biochemistry, right? By releasing dopamine, endorphins. This is one of the things I would always forget. I would be like, oh, well, I've just learned that it changes your biochemistry, so I'm going to do it. But I would just forget. With this system, it's completely automatic, so I never forget, right? I've also automated my lights to turn on in the morning. Now, you might think, isn't this taking it a bit too far? But when you think about it, back in our cavemen days, this was already automated for us, right, with the sunrise. So our biology has evolved to respond to light as a natural signal to wake up, and it just resets our circadian rhythm, and it just, it gets you moving. So really automating my lights is just bringing that ancient system back into our modern world and working with our design and not against it. It's all about that, working with our design. Then the next thing is, boom, I strike a power posture. This is just like standing like Superman or like Batman. Again, might sound stupid, but studies show that this increases your testosterone by 20%. Who doesn't want that? And then it also reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, by 25%. Who doesn't want that? So motion creates emotion. The fastest way to shift your state is to move your body. It's such a simple way to prime your physiology, right? So that's why first thing I do as soon as I wake up, I do the power pose. Then I do a bit of light exposure. I open the curtains. Andrew Huberman talks extensively about the importance of morning light exposure. This again helps synchronize your circadian rhythm, it improves your energy levels, and it sets you up for better sleep at night. So, it's one of the easiest and most impactful things you can do for your health. Then I make my bed. Jordan Peterson says, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. It's a simple act of discipline, and you're just proving to yourself that you can create a little bit of order in a small part of your life, and it just snowballs into bigger things in your life, right? Plus it's like an instant win first thing in the morning, so do it. Then probably the cheesiest, and it might sound the most ridiculous one, but Mel Robbins swears by it, which is, and she's talking about it all the time, how she fist pumps the mirror, right? So I don't know whether it works or not. It's free, it's quick, and honestly, it just sets a positive tone for the day. So why not give it a try? Then I do priming. It's like a quick breathwork session with a bit of gratitude and so on. Tony Robbins calls this, as I say, priming. And he says, like, if there's one practice to take from any of his seminars, it's this. It only takes a couple of minutes, but it's truly a game changer for clarity and focus, and just it sets you good vibes for the day. Then I cold plunge. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but cold exposure just floods your body with endorphins. It resets your nervous system, and it boosts dopamine levels up to 250%. Who doesn't want more dopamine? And in a natural good way, I mean. And you feel unstoppable afterwards, and it just builds this courage, because if you can handle that first thing in the morning, what can't you handle? Then I do some goal settings. I take a few minutes to write down my top 3 priorities in the day. Clarity is power. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger says, if you don't have a vision, you are just drifting, right? You have to know where you're going. So without a plan, you're planning to fail. Then I do a quick quad check, which I learned from the Hoffman process. It's just checking in with your emotions, your body, your mind, your spiritual self. It's all about alignment, making sure that you don't just rush into the day, but you start from a place of balance, right? Then I do some incantations, which is like basically affirmations. And here's where I remind myself of why I'm doing all this. Success without a purpose is just a grind. Tony Robbins says that if you say something to yourself with enough conviction and repetition, you'll start to believe it. So this just reinforces my focus and drives for the day. And then I do a bit of reading, or I listen to an audiobook as I'm going to the gym. Something that's going to feed my mind or like expand my perspective. It's all about starting the day with a bit of growth and curiosity, right? And then I get to the gym, and whether it's stretching or weightlifting or quick run, this just clears your mind and it boosts your energy as well, right? I'm not going to preach you on the importance of exercise. We all know how important it is. So you're probably thinking, okay, let's do all this, but isn't it a lot? And I get it, but here's the secret sauce, right? I've automated the whole thing, and each element just takes a few minutes. From the moment I wake up to getting out the house, it might take me like 30 minutes, right? There's nothing to think about. There's involved in the whole process. You're not relying on willpower. It just happens. You're on autopilot, and trust me, when you do this consistently, it goes from feeling like a grind to feeling like you've unlocked some kind of like this superpower, right? Honestly, it just feels amazing. And I've incorporated pain and pleasure as well to create that leverage. So by the time you've done like 30 seconds of it, you want to get out of bed. You want to jump out of bed, right? So let's get into the how I've put the whole thing on autopilot. So I created a script using ChatGPT that walks me through all the activities, all the habits, and that I wanted to incorporate into my morning routine. And the beauty of this is it's fully customizable. Whether I want to prioritize one habit or another, I just go in, tweak it, no problem. I can change it whenever I want. And then I got this script and I turned it into audio using text-to-speech AI. And then to make it even more immersive, I layered it in with some music. And yeah, it's ridiculously simple, but it completely takes out the thinking, the hesitation upon waking. It's like having your own personal trainer, coach, / whatever you want to call it, waiting for you as soon as you open your eyes. No overthinking, no debating, no decision fatigue, just a smooth, guided start to the day that keeps you on track, and it just makes you feel good. Then I wanted to remove even more friction, specifically the need to set an alarm and manually press play on the audio. So you might know about this or not, shortcuts, but before we go into that, I wanted to again quote James Clear. He says, the less friction there is, the higher chances of sticking to a habit. The easier it is to start a task, the more likely you're going to do it. It's like if you were to learn to play the guitar, you don't want to keep it in its case. You want to leave it out somewhere where you're naturally just going to pick it up and play as much as possible. So I set up shortcuts on my iPhone, which let you automate tasks seamlessly. And now the audio starts automatically at a preset time, and it plays throughout my HomePods. I've got them on my bedside tables. I've got one in the bathroom. And if you're curious to learn about these shortcuts, just search for it on YouTube. There's plenty of videos just guiding you through how to set them up. They are really, really powerful. And I didn't stop there. I created another shortcut that triggers Audible, and it starts playing as I head to the car. Perfectly timed to kick in right after my morning routine audio finishes, right? This fully integrated flow makes it effortless and seamless, and it's designed to remove all those tiny points of resistance that could derail me from my momentum, right? So, and once I get to the gym, guess what? Even that is on autopilot. My workout plan is pre-programmed, which honestly, I think it's been the single biggest factor for me staying consistent over the years. But that's for another story, another time, right? Also, I have my calendar read out to me in the mornings. So I know exactly what events and what priorities I have got going on for the day ahead. It's all about eliminating that friction and setting myself up to hit the ground running. So bottom line, your mornings set the tone for everything, honestly, for your entire life, right? Conquer the morning and you're going to conquer your whole life. If you got something out of this, let me know in the comments. What's your morning routine? And if you come up with anything that's going to make this even more powerful, also please let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe, because I'll be making more videos of things that have honestly impacted my life powerfully, and share it with anyone that you think might benefit from hearing this and it might, go good for them. And one more thing, success isn't about a finish line, right? It's about taking ownership of your life and your focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. Progress is what's going to make you ultimately happy. Hitting a goal is cool, but that feeling of hitting a goal, doesn't matter how big it is, it's just going to slowly go away, right? It doesn't last forever due to the hedonic adaptation. It just fades away. That's why a consistent morning routine is so powerful, because it gives you that daily sense of progress and it improves your overall happiness. It raises that baseline of happiness. You're just going to feel better and it keeps you moving in the right direction. So look, I've been around the block when it comes to personal growth and taking things to the next level. I'm a certified NLP practitioner way back from 2008. I've done loads of Tony Robbins events since I was like 21 years old. UPW, Business Mastery, Date with Destiny, all of them. I've done the Hoffman process, which is a week long. I've done the Wim Hof retreats, another week. The CBT, coaching, you name it, right? So the whole enchilada. So if you're serious about taking your mornings to the next level, I can help. We'll clarify your vision, your goals, and build a routine tailored to your life, specifically to what your needs are in this moment in time in your own life, right? Incorporating those exact habits and elements you need to crush your goals, right? So just click the link in the description to book and I'll happily jump on a call with you. Now, this does come at a cost. It's not free, obviously, but if you've made it this far into the video, you clearly are serious about your ambition and you value your time and you know it's an investment. I'll leave you with this powerful quote from Edwin Lewis Cole, which really resonates with me and really stuck to me. The tragedy of life is not that it ends so soon, but that we wait so long to begin it. And the worst thing in life is meeting that man that you could have been.